Sorry about that. Good morning, Saints. This is the doctor and the preacher. Too many things going on the technical side here.
All right. I heard you for a little bit, then I stopped hearing you. But can you hear me? You can hear me? I can't hear anything you're saying, Pastor. I can't hear anything you're saying.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. It was my doing. Good morning to
Oh,
you. How are you?
I'm fine. I can hear you loud and clear now. Beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
All right, super. So yeah, today we're talking more about how to treat viruses, colds, and flus with natural interventions. So, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Let's say a quick word of prayer. Father, bless and direct us now as Dr. Kathy teaches us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Yes, yes. So we've been talking about the WFPB approach to fighting colds, flus, viruses. That's abounding now. In cold season, we have COVID going on, we have a flu, and we need to know how to fight because many of us are coming down with some kind of bug. So we spoke about hydrotherapy, right? That's the W,
Mhm.
water. Use water to fight. Inside, drinking your nice warm water inside and using hydrotherapy outside. So get into that nice warm tub and really letting your body temperature rise, inducing a fever almost so that your immune cells can get into gear. So that's the water we spoke about. Then the food, a simple diet, plant-based diet, eating more fruits, vegetable soups, drinking teas. Those things help when you're fighting a virus. And then the P in my WFPB approach is to pause, to slow down and rest. Many times when we start to get sick, we forget that part, that we need to go to bed super early. So, not midnight, not 11 o'clock, but actually trying to get to bed as early as you can. Go down with the sun. Go to bed like at 7, at 8, and just shut off from everything. You need a lot more rest when you are coming down with a bug. um, Cancel some of those meetings, cancel some engagements, find a replacement. If you get even sicker, you can't do it anyway. So start to get into gear and slow down as soon as the infection starts. That's the best way to shorten the duration and the intensity of this infection that wants to take you down. So you really have to pause. When you pause and rest more, guess what? You get more melatonin in your body. So when you go to bed early, remember we spoke about this before, melatonin starts to rise about 9 p.m. And you want every bit of melatonin that you can get to fight because melatonin is not only a hormone or to help you sleep, but it helps to fight infection. It helps to fight cancer. It's an antioxidant and a potent one at that. So when you go to bed earlier, you get a higher boosting of melatonin because after midnight, it's not going up anymore. It starts to go down. So if you're going to bed after midnight, you're not getting the benefits of melatonin. And when your eyes are exposed to light, so if you're awake until midnight, guess what? The light that gets into your eyes sends a signal to your brain that says, it's not time for melatonin. Don't increase the production because we're still awake. And that's how you lose out on melatonin when you go to bed late. You don't get the benefits of repair and restoration, and you are sicker for longer. So pause, rest, especially when you're coming down with a flu or a bug. And then the last part in the WFPB acronym there is B, boost. We can boost our immune system naturally. All right, so that's what we're going to focus on right now. So I want you to remember that a plant-based diet is most effective when you eat a lot of plants. The same thing with supplements. when you're taking supplements to fight a virus, you got to take a good amount. You got to take enough to really fight this bug. One of the first things I want you to try is to have the flu bomb in your fridge throughout the winter months. Now, what's the flu bomb? I've written about this. It's on my blog, and it's called Corona Recipes. And I have in there a recipe that shows you how to use foods that are very high in boosting power for the immune system. How to use that to help your body to fight infection. The main ingredients are lemon, garlic, honey, and ginger. The lemons are very high in vitamin C. The garlic we know has excellent properties for fighting viruses, bacteria. It's almost like a natural vancomycin. Vancomycin is a very powerful antibiotic. Garlic is like the food comparison to vancomycin. It's very potent. Honey has vitamin B and helps to soothe the throat and the region that's hurting when you have a sore throat and infection. And then ginger, it helps to increase. It's almost like ginger is in the family of like turmeric. Those guys, they help to increase certain. They help to decrease. They're like COX-2 inhibitors. They help to decrease inflammatory bugs or proteins in your body. So those are very good to put in a concoction and keep in the back of the fridge. And then when you start to feel sick, start to take a teaspoon, every few hours. That will help you when you're fighting. So that's a natural food remedy you can put together and just have on hand. Other things that you want to have in your house would be things like vitamin D. And I have all mine lined out for you here. I'm going to show you all of them. Vitamin D is what I have. I have vitamin C, zinc. I have essential oils that I use in my aromatherapy. And there are many others out there. I mean, you'll hear of a lot more because there are many different supplements and herbs that help with the immune system. You'll hear about elderberry. That's good. Melatonin. That's also a natural immune booster. You can get it in a pill and take it right when you're feeling sick. All these are very useful. And the key is to have them on hand when you're beginning to come down with that bug. I like to get brands that are USP verified. Now, USP verified just means that they've been overseen by a certain board, and what they say they have in there is actually in there. Okay, so it's like the FDA for supplements, the USP. So you want it to be USP verified, and I look for that little label when I'm getting my supplements. And so you've gotten your supplements, you have them on hand. Now, how do you use them? All right, so let's start with them one at a time. So vitamin D. I like vitamin D a lot because there is so much evidence behind it. It works. There is a plethora of data that says that vitamin D is very useful to boost the immune system. Every cell in your body has a vitamin D receptor, which means that it works in every cell to help it to function better. We know that the B cells and the T cells, those are your immune fighting cells, your white cells, those are the soldiers that go out to fight the bugs. They have vitamin D receptors because vitamin D helps them to be more efficient. So we really want to have this on hand. Those who have low vitamin D levels have been shown to do worse with COVID. And there's a direct correlation. The lower your vitamin D level, it seems like the worse you do when you have to deal with COVID-19. So it's important to know what's your vitamin D level. Do we know our levels? Well, how do we find out? It's a simple blood test. When you have your blood drawn, you ask your doctor, can you add vitamin D to the testing? And so you should get this done so you can know the number. You want to be above 30. You don't want to be under 30. Unfortunately, my vitamin D, when I got it checked October of last year, was 19. Ugh, that was not good. That was not good. And so it's important to keep on top of it. So when my vitamin D level was 19, I should have jumped on it right away, but I didn't get around to it until a few months later. And that was not smart because guess what? I got COVID in November with a low vitamin D. And so I was not able to fight back as easily as if I had a nice, robust vitamin D level. So, of course, I'm not playing now. I went to my doctor, I got my prescription vitamin D because mine was so low. And I also have the supplements at home, and I have different kinds for adults and for children. What I mean by that, it's hard for kids to swallow pills, right? So I get the chewable kind for my children, chewable vitamin D supplements, and that's what they take every day, especially in the winter when there is not as much intensity of the sun when you go outside. All right. So we want to have it on hand and know your D level. That's key. Just check it once a year. Don't check it, too often. Just once a year, you need to check it. And if it's below 30 or 40, jump on it. Get adequate supplementation, get it back up. If it's a nice level above 50, 60, don't take vitamin D. You do not need to take supplementation if your vitamin D level is good. So that's why it's helpful to know what your number is. And let's say you don't have health insurance coverage, because health insurances will pay for that. But if you don't have coverage, you can budget for about $50 to $70 to get a vitamin D level checked. Okay, put it in your budget, get it done once a year, know your number. All right. So how much should you take if you come down with a bug? The minute you feel something is when you need to act. I keep saying that over and over again, right? Because we need to remember it. I need to remember it. The minute you feel something, you start. When it comes to vitamin D, especially if you know you're low, about 25,000 units right away. Take that. And then do that daily for about 5 days. And then you can drop back down to whatever your supplementation level or dosage was. So that's what would be useful to take 25,000 units for once a day for 5 days. Now that's above the regular daily dose that you're recommended to take. But we're talking about when you're coming down with a cold, a flu, or a bug, not for everyday use. You want to hit it hard, a good dosage, and then you back off. Now you may say, well, are there any side effects with vitamin D? Well, it is fat soluble. You need to remember that your fat soluble vitamins kind of store up within your body, in your fat area. So yeah, you can get too much vitamin D. There is some toxicity. And so that's why after about 5 days of a high dose, I say just go back down to what your normal was, or just stop. If if your vitamin D level is fine. So if you take too much, though, you'll find that you'll get things like nausea. Your pressure might go up. You might get some diarrhea. You may feel really weak. Those can be signs of toxicity with vitamin D. All right, so get your vitamin D. D3 is fine. The prescription one is D2. They're both fine. And just have it on hand in your house, in your supplement cabinet. All right, what else do I take? I take vitamin C. Vitamin C is a potent antioxidant. It binds up free radicals and it helps your white cells focus on the bug and not on other inflammation in your body, because vitamin C is binding up those other bad guys. It strengthens your immune system and it helps you to get better faster. Actually, a few hospitals on their protocol, when they're treating folks for COVID, they give them intravenous vitamin C. And that is a part of the regimen. So you should have your own vitamin C in the house so that when you come down with something, you can fight. When your family comes down with something, you can help them fight. Now, the vitamin C I have the chewable kind. And I got USP verified. This is nature made. And this is a chewable kind that the kids can take easily. I also like the liquid kind. They call it liposomal vitamin C. All right, it's supposed to be absorb faster and quicker. And usually liquid type medicines are absorbed faster and work more quickly. So I don't see why the liquid supplements wouldn't do the same thing. So I have this one here. It's liquid vitamin C. And this one is Mary Ruth's Megadose Vitamin C, liposomal or liposomal. And so I have this on hand, and I have this kind too. This one is Aurora Vitamin C, also liposomal vitamin C. And the nice thing with these is that in just about a tablespoon of vitamin C, you're getting a good dose, about 3,000 milligrams. And one of them is 5,000 milligrams. So actually, I recommend that when you're coming down with something, getting sick, you feel that bug coming on, you have the early stage of COVID, you take 5,000 milligrams 3 times a day for about 5 days. Just hit it, right? You really want to get over the hump and get back to yourself. So the liquid kind, though, when you open it, it doesn't store in the fridge for more than about 45 days. So once you open it, you're going to have to finish it. So the good thing, though, is if you're down with COVID in the house and there's anybody else in the house, let everybody take it, because guess what? Vitamin C is going to help everybody else get better or help prevent and fight the disease. So you open the bottle, it's only going to last 30 days. Take your 5,000 units 3 times a day for 5 days. Everybody else in the house do that, and then you wouldn't have wasted any of your vitamin C, and it will help you all to do better. Now, are there toxicities with vitamin C? Vitamin C is not fat soluble. Okay, you do not overdose on vitamin C. Any extra, you tend to just pee out or poop it out. So if you take too much vitamin C, you might get loose stools, diarrhea, and that could be a sign that, okay, we can back off a little bit. All right. Of course, foods have vitamin C in there, and the foods that you want to focus on while you're fighting this bug are foods that are high in vitamin C. So your citrus foods, everybody knows that, right? C for citrus, C for vitamin C. We know that. But what about things like your broccoli and your sweet peppers? We don't often remember that those foods are also very good for vitamin C. And so you can add them to your soups. When you're making your soup for your hydrotherapy and your food, you add your broccoli, you add your peppers, you add your tomatoes, your cabbage. Those all have vitamin C. Your yams, amazing. So you're hitting hard from every angle to fight this bug. All right, what else do I have? And what else do I use when I'm coming down with a cold or flu? Zinc. Zinc is useful. There are studies that show that zinc helps to decrease viral replication, so it can't multiply as fast as it wants to, and it helps to shorten the duration of even your common cold. Any virus you have, you can try zinc, and it can help to decrease the intensity and the duration of your infection. Now, be careful. Like anything else, you need to know the potential side effects, right? That's just a part of me being a physician. I want to know how it helps you and how it can hurt you so that I can give the best recommendations. So whilst zinc is useful to decrease viral replication, you can take too much. And even when you read the back of these things, they will usually tell you, do not take more than 150 milligrams a day. So never exceed more than 150 milligrams a day of zinc. So they usually come in lozenges, and the lozenges usually have about 15 milligrams of vitamin C. Of zinc. So you can take up to 10 of these lozenges a day, up to about 10. Take one like every 2 hours or every hour. and that will help you, but don't take more than 10 of them. Don't exceed 150 milligrams of this. Now, why is that? Because it's been shown that, if you overdo zinc, it can affect the absorption of other essential minerals, like it will decrease iron absorption. It will affect calcium absorption. And when you take intranasal zinc, if you do too much, it can damage your sense of smell. And it can also damage your sense of taste if you overdo it. So I do not recommend taking zinc every day just because. No, zinc is a good backup. Keep it in your house. If you got exposed to somebody with a viral infection, or if everybody in your school, is coming down with a cold, or everybody in your house is a cold, you can start taking this as prevention. If you start to feel something like a cold, you can take this right away to help fight early. But if you feel fine and you're not surrounded by people with viruses, I wouldn't take this every day. All right. So we've got, and then what kind of foods have zinc? Foods that have zinc are your grains, your nuts, and your seeds. So that's why seeds like pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds are good to have. Good to sprinkle on your whole grain porridge in the morning, your whole grain. The whole grain is the better one to have, or to put on your sandwiches, or to have with your lunch on your salad in the daytime. Okay, what else? I do not have this one, but this can be useful to have in your supplement cupboard at home. It's NAC, N-acetylcysteine. NAC comes from the amino acid L-cysteine, and what it does, it boosts glutathione levels, and that helps to improve your immune system function. It especially works well in the lungs, because it helps to reduce inflammation and stops viral replication. We actually use it in the hospital when individuals have certain lung diseases like cystic fibrosis, or when they have Tylenol overdose. It can be very helpful. So NAC is something you can get over the counter in your Whole Foods, herbal store, and you would take 2 tablets of 600 milligrams daily. So that's NAC. That's one you can have. And then there's aromatherapy. I love aromatherapy because it's just so pleasant, and it's very useful. Now, we've spoken about the steam inhalation, and when you add certain oils to that, that is helpful to fight the viral replication, to help decrease mucus, to help soothe the air, open up the lungs. So I have eucalyptus. I have a little bag, my little medicine bag here, that I have all my essential oils in them. And these are a few I have. I have eucalyptus, which helps open up the lungs. I have oregano, powerful. We need to have this one in our homes. Oregano oil. Not only does it work well with aromatherapy to really help open up the lungs and help with the breathing, it is a known antiviral and antibacterial. Big chicken farmers, they give oregano oil to their chicken as a natural antibiotic, and it helps. It works. Just keep in mind, though, if you have diabetes, it can lead to some decreased sugar levels, and if you're on a blood thinner, it can make your blood thinner. So just be mindful of that when you're taking these. And I also have menthol crystals. I get a big bag of menthol crystals, and it's hard to see with the light, but this is a bag of menthol crystals in here, and I put it in my diffuser. So this is a diffuser. I put water in there, and then I put the crystals in there, or some of these essential oils, plug it in, and it releases this steam, this aroma that fills the room. And guess what? It helps you to breathe better. It helps clear your sinuses. It helps you with soothing the lungs, helps with the cough that you're struggling with. These are natural ways to help fight these pesky bugs and viruses. All right, so that's about everything I have here in my little pharmacy. And those are just some of the simple things that you can do to fight. Now, remember, the key is to have them on hand. Because if you get sick and you don't have them, then you sometimes don't even feel the strength to go and buy it at that point. Just get it now. Keep it in your house so that when you have the first inkling of a bug in yourself, your kids, your partner, your spouse, you jump right on it and you have a much better chance of being victorious over the little monsters in your body. All right, that is it. I will take any questions if anybody has. I am open to taking any inquiries.
So there are a number of questions online, Dr. Kathy. And I'm going to set this up so that you'll be able to see them when you're here. They're going to pop on your screen. But for today, I'll go ahead and read it because the one person asks, "What's your thoughts on supplementing with quercetin? Quercetin?
Quercetin. Yeah. Quercetin it is good. It's found in many dark colored berries like blueberries. It's in the B vitamin family, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, quercetin is good to support and improve the immune system. So go for it. Get your quercetin. That's a good one to have.
Okay. And the other one is, do you recommend probiotics? Probiotics.
Yeah. So, probiotics. It seems like everybody recommends probiotics, and I think they have a place. I'm not one that recommends them all the time, every day, because we know. Okay, so what are probiotics? They help feed the little guys within your gut to help the good guys in your gut, the bugs, the gut microbiomes, the gut bugs. They help the good guys do better. And so the bad guys don't take over. So we know that's important because the gut microbiome has a huge part to play in the immune system and in our overall health. So the better our good guys in our gut, the better we are. So we need to take care of them. We know that your gut microbiome is determined a lot by what we eat. And when we eat a Western diet, the bad bugs take over. They feed the bad bugs. When we have a diet that's really plant-based, unrefined, unprocessed, guess who you're feeding? You're feeding the good guys. Those good gut bugs, they love yams, kale, onions, garlic. Those things feed them and they proliferate. So if we're on a diet that's high in unrefined, unprocessed plant foods, you don't need probiotics. But it takes a while to get there, right? So if you are someone who's still on a pretty refined diet, you're on a Western diet, yeah, you probably need probiotics. Yeah, you need some help with those good bugs. They need some good nutrition, but I don't want us to stay there. My mantra is get to the unprocessed, unrefined, whole food diet. That's what's going to work for you. And since you mentioned probiotics, I read an article just this week about some study that showed that the type of poop you produced correlated with how you did with COVID-19. Meaning, if you had good gut bugs and they checked your poop and they could find certain bacteria, healthy bacteria, those folks got over COVID-19 real good. They did well with COVID-19. But the folks that had poop that had a lot of evidence of a bad gut microbiome, a lot of bad gut bugs, those were the ones who did poorly with COVID-19. So a lot can be told by your poop and what kind of bugs are in your gut. But that's just something I saw last week. But yeah, probiotics, if your diet is not the best, but aim towards the best diet on the planet.
And the other question is, should you be taking vitamin 3 every day? This is
D3.
D3.
So yeah. So that's a very good question because a lot of folks take it reflexively, and that may not be the way to go. What do I mean by that? A study just came out recently that shows that if you have adequate levels of D3, of vitamin D in your body, if you're not deficient, taking vitamin D doesn't make a difference in how you do with disease and death. So the question is, what is your D3? What is your vitamin D level? What is your vitamin D level? If you don't know the answer to that, go see your doctor. Get a blood test and you will know. You want to be above 30, ideally above 50. If you're above 50, you don't need the vitamin D. You really don't. You don't need to take it every day. But if you're below 50, yeah, you take your vitamin D, especially in the winter when the sun exposure is not so high.
Okay, well, the other two is off topic. You can answer them if you choose. One is about anxiety and sleep. What can they do to get some of that? And the other person is asking, will you be talking about thyroid malfunction?
Yeah, we have a follower that really wants us to talk about thyroid. That always comes up. Okay, to our listener that wants to know about thyroid, yes, we're gonna get into that. I will prepare something just for you talking about the thyroid. Um, and anxiety and sleep. Oh my, that's so important. Um, especially now. So there are many factors that affect individuals and their anxiety level and their sleep, especially now. One, time of year that we're in. This time of year with the shorter days, the cold weather, it really affects mood, and it can affect sleep. And then with the pandemic and folks, not really being out socializing, connecting with others, that has shown to really negatively impact mood, overall sense of wellness and happiness and sleep. And it's like a vicious cycle. The more anxious and sad you are, the worse your sleep, and the worse your sleep, the more anxious and sad you are. So it's not a good combination at all. I would say that when you're struggling with mood disorders and poor sleep, you always want to go back to the basics. Back to the basics is where you can find most of your answers. So you want to look at the pillars of health and see, are have I been able to really adhere to the pillars of health? What does my diet look like? Am I getting foods that help produce and boost well-being, or am I eating foods that really help to drag down the mood, drag down the soul? And what foods help your mood? Plant foods, unprocessed foods, those are high in tryptophan. Tryptophan turns to serotonin. Those hormones, those compounds help you to feel happier, feel more calm. Those foods help with your blood sugar level. So your blood sugar level is more stable. So you're not vacillating with high sugars and low sugars. What foods tend to drag your mood down and make you just feel more irritable, more, sad, anxious? Processed foods, refined foods, foods that are high in sugar. Your blood sugar goes up and it comes down. So your mood is up and all over the place. So you want to look at the foods that you're eating. Those affect how you feel. Then you want to look at your exercise level. Am I getting outside? Am I getting to really boost melatonin? When I get outside and exercise and move, my melatonin level goes up by 200%. More melatonin means better sleep, better mood, and overall better well-being. You want to look at things like, am I getting fresh air? Fresh air has been really linked to a clearer thinking, better mood. These are basics, but they make a big difference. We want to look at our stress level. Are we temperate in all things? Or are we overdoing it? Are we taking on more than we can handle? Are we taking on the stress and worries of those around us? Are we thinking about and worrying about things that we cannot change? Those things keep us awake at night. We can't sleep. We can't get good rest when we are constantly thinking about things that we have no control over. We want to get back to the basics. The answer is usually in the basic pillars of health. And so, there's no one, shoe that fits all, but when we apply those different pillars of health to our life, we will improve in so many areas, including our mood and our sleep. And we also spoke about sleep hygiene in prior episodes. So if you want to go back to some of those episodes that we've done together and look at sleep hygiene, just different tips for better sleep, that may also be helpful.
Yeah, we do have a new audience because, of course, since joining Shiloh, a lot of Shiloh people have joined and they're influenced, so they're not aware of our other programs. And yeah, that was on the Hope YouTube channel. Now we're on Shiloh YouTube channel, so little different network going on here. But I want to thank you for your time, Dr. Kathy. Appreciate you very much coming and sharing with us, and we hope you're going to have a great day today. We look forward to seeing you on next Wednesday. Thank you very much. And folks, want to remind you that tonight we're continuing our Black History Celebration, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night. So we got tonight, we got Friday night. It's going to be awesome. So plan to be with us at 7 p.m. You're going to find it's going to be special. So Dr. Kathy, we're going to say a word of prayer and close out. Father, thank you so much for Dr. Kathy. Thank you for our audience. And I pray now you go with us through the rest of the day and give us success at all we do, we ask. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks, Dr. Kathy. Have a great day.
You too.